Hi all, and thanks for tuning in. Right, I'm hoping that this is going to save you a lot of time and researching. I've spent about 3 months looking at these Chinese diesel heaters, and everything seems to be for it going in a van. There's very little about it going in a boat. So I thought I'd save you time and share my findings with you so it passes the dreaded BSS. There is a few videos on YouTube. An Australian guy is quite informative, but they don't have the same regulations as us. So I'm going to open this up now and show you what you get in box and tell you what you need to throw away. And then I'll show you in steps each part what you need to buy to comply with BSS to get it fitted in your boat. Now this heater cost me £96 off eBay. I ordered it Thursday and it comes Saturday, so obviously it didn't come from Shanghai where it said it was from somewhere in England, so that were good. Right, so here we have everything that come in box. I'll go through it all in a minute. Like I said, it cost 96 quid, and to be fair, you could, if you were putting that in a van, you've got everything you need, but you're not, you're putting it in a boat, so don't expect it to cost you 96 quid, because it ain't. It's going to cost you, when you bought everything, depending on how much ducting you need for warm air and that, you're looking at about 400. And majority of that's for exhaust part. We'll go through that in a minute. Right, so obviously you've got your heater, 5 kilowatt apparently. Instructions, fuel tank, no good. So, well, I'm tapping into main diesel tank, so that's no good for what we want. These clips and Jubilee clips, bin them and buy new. There's some nuts and bolts in there, you'll need them to fasten things, so take them out. This plate is for going through a floor. No good. Mine's going on a wall, so I need an L bracket. Get one of them off eBay, 15 quid I think they are. So that's no good. Filter, no good. Plastic, can't have no plastic out like that for fuel line. Exhaust muffler, silencer, no good. The leak. You get this piece of exhaust pipe with it. Now I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to buy, for sake of 15 quid, I'm going to buy a proper Emerspatcher piece. So no good. This is fuel line it gives you, no good. Basically what we've got left is your ducting for warm air. Now you've got to buy this foil stuff and that, you can't use cheap shit, so you're looking at about 20 quid a metre for that, depending where you buy it from. I'm having 2 outlets, so that's handy because it's come with them, they're alright. That's your pump, that's older foot pump. That's your air intake for exhaust and to silence filter for it. And then you get this remote with your control display, so you can on off, up down temperature. Now that'll come without a battery, so you'll have to buy one of those, pack of them, to get that to work. Oh hang on, you also get a fuel standpipe. I'll just get that. Right, here's your fuel standpipe to put into your diesel tank. Now this will be bang on, except it's not right size. It's I think its outside diameter is about 5 mil, and because you need to put a stop valve on the end of that before you connect your pipe up, they're 6mm. So this is no good. That needs to go on no good pile, and you'll have to buy a proper one. Now all this stuff here, you can put on eBay and sell it individually, and you will get a lot of your money back, to be fair. So, or you can just chuck it away or use it for whatever. So if you put all that on eBay, you'd probably get about 60 quid or something for it. So then it makes this lot a lot cheaper. Right, so I'm going to do this in stages. So first thing I'm going to do is fuel. So I'll just pack all this up and I'll show you what I've bought for fuel line and that. And I'll tell you where I got it from and how much it costs, so you can add it all up as we go along. And then I'll install that into the boat, show you that. And we'll come back and we'll do exhaust section. And then we'll put that into the boat and then I'll show you it all done. So just bear with me a minute. Okay, so this is what you'll need to put your fuel line in from your tank. Now BSS used to say that it had to be all done in copper, but they've since changed that, and now you're allowed to use this rubber hose, but it must be stamped, if you can see that, with that ISO 7840. Now that's 3.5mm internal diameter, and then I've got a chrome and glass filter with some 4mm barb fittings. They do fit in there nice and tight. This is the standpipe I bought that is 6mm, so that this fuel shut-off valve will fit onto there before we start with rubber stuff, and then clips for that pipe I got, and then proper Jubilee clips, not them cheap flimsy things. Now this hose, I've got 5 meters, and them clips from a place called Hose World Limited, and that cost me £18 with delivery. Fuel filter I got off eBay, about 3 quid. It did come with plastic, different size plastic things you put in there, but obviously you can't have no plastic, it's all got to be done in metal, so then I had to buy these, which were a couple of quid. Fuel shut-off valve, pipe clips, and this proper stand, fuel tank stand, I got from Mela online. They're quite cheap, and I'm actually thinking about, they do all heater, ducting and everything and all that. That ducting I showed you before, I found on eBay for about 20 quid a metre. Now on there it's 15 quid a metre, but they charge a tenner delivery. So, but obviously you're only paying that tenner once, so it comes in a great, you can have as small as a metre up to 25 metres. So if you need a lot, it might be worth looking on that Miller online. If you only need a bit delivery, you might be better getting it off eBay. So next thing, we'll go to the boat, we'll get this fitted, and I'll show you that. Just before we do that, this is how much that that fuel tap stop thing cost with delivery, and then that's how much clips and the standpipe were. So that gives you an idea of that. Right, now to the boat. Right, here we are down at the boat. I'll show you what I'm planning on doing here with that fuel line thing. So excuse me. Right, at the minute I've just got a little 2 kilowatt electric heater, and this actually warms it up quite well in here. So I'm hoping that when my first air thing is going to come straight out of here, blowing into it. I were going to put 2 in and put 1 in bedroom under, coming out under bed there, but because it's going to be a ball ache threading it all under the floor, I've decided to see how we go with that. Just 1 there to start with, and the other one is going to come out in cockpit underneath that chair there, underneath Captain's chair. So I'm hoping that with them 2, these doors shut, it's going to be lovely and toasty and warm. So under here, this is where it's going to be going, heater under here. This is diesel tank where I've got to tap in with my magic thing, which is here. I fetched that with me, straightened it out. Now it's too long, so I'm going to have to cut it off, and you have to cut it off on a slant like that for some reason. So what I'm thinking about doing is drilling an oil about here, fitting it, and then as you can see I can then run my fuel line along here, fasten it to this engine one, and it's gonna go, heater's gonna go, when I move this out of the thing, it's gonna go on that back wall there, back where that pipe is, that's coming off, it's doing now. So heater will be there on that L bracket. Where that 2 pipes go through is where my pipe then is going to come down to the filter, down behind this to the pump, and then up into diesel heater. And then you can't see, but exhaust is going to go through that side, but I'll cover all that in the next video when we get on to exhaust. So we've got this hole to drill, which I'm not really looking forward to. I've been told that if you cover the drill bit, which is one of them hole saw jobbies, if you cover it in grease and get somebody to hold it with a vacuum cleaner, let me just undo this. One hand. This cost me about a £5 off eBay. So that goes on, well, it all goes together and goes on thing. Should drill me hole about there. So I'm told if you cover that in grease and have somebody with a vacuum cleaner, you don't get any filings dropping into your diesel tank, because that is full. There's 500 litres in there, a red. So we don't really want that getting contaminated. Right, I'll get my drill out and we'll come back and show you when I've got it in. That's the standpipe fitted with the stop cock. It just fits under there nice. We could have had a disaster, but we didn't. And I shall feed that all the way around there later. So that's that for now. Alright, finally got all my bits that I need. It's been 2 weeks since I fitted that standpipe in diesel tank. So it's took a while for everything to come. But it's given me a chance to get some other jobs on that boat, which is nice. So I'll talk you through this, and for everybody that's adding up how much it's cost, I'll let you know. So what we got here, we got proper exhaust. It's a lot thicker and not as flimsy as that other stuff. That was 15 quid off eBay. Exhaust wrap to keep it insulated, stop it burning out and getting too hot if anybody accidentally touches it. That were tenner. Through hull fitting. Nah, this were 45 quid this. You can get some cheaper, but they didn't come, it just had washers on back, not this plate, and it didn't come with gasket, and that were about 36 quid. So I thought, you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right, and so 45 quid. That's a 38mm oil thing to cut oil for that. It's actually 35mm, but I thought I'd get 38, and then my plan was to just put a bit of that around there, just for extra safetiness. Now then, this is a condensing drain. It goes in lowest point of exhaust, and any moisture when it's cooling down and that gathers in it dribbles down into this and out at bottom, and it acts like a trap in your toilet that stops smells coming back up. So exhaust's not powerful enough to push water out and come out of there. So once you prime that, fill it with water, goes in at lowest point of exhaust, and then any water or out in it stops it carboning up. The last thing you want is that getting full of soot and muck, and eventually it's going to stop your heater working. Come with them 2 clips. But marine silencer, oh, that was 50 quid, that. So it's not cheap, and it come from Turkey. That's what I've been waiting for. This, excuse me, marine silencer, them that come, like I say, they're not sealed, they'll leak and everything. This is a proper, there's no way that can leak. That was £37 off eBay, and you can have it with that bracket on or not. You just sent bloke a message. This I'm going to put on bulkhead wall, so when exhaust, because it's timber, so where the heater is, that'll sit, it's about 1 metre by 500, and it reflects heat, so it just protect that wall. That's a bit overkill, you don't really need that, but for it, that were a tenner. This is that L-shaped bracket I on about for heater, so we'll put that on bulkhead wall. Heater will sit on there, we'll fasten everything on and all that. That was 16 quid off eBay. Heat-proof silicone, that's for fitting that to hull. Exhaust paste, so alt joints like on there, on this and on this, it'll just added security, stop it leaking. I bought some proper clips. Now these weren't cheap, got these off same bloke I bought that pipe from, who sells e-dispatch stuff. They were £6 odd a piece, so I got 6, I think. That cost me 41 quid. And then safety dudes, BSS man, they always like everything electrical to be isolated, and I didn't really want to put it through other isolator for main domestic stuff. So I thought I'd get its own isolator, because then when I leave the boat I can turn this off, knowing full well that nothing's going to happen while I'm away. So I've just got this little thing here, simple on and off. That were a tenner. An inline fuse, you want a 15 amp fuse, that was just a couple of quid, I can't remember now that. And then I got this to connect it, proper thick wire to connect the battery to the isolator, and then heater will connect to isolator. That was about a £5. So, and then what I'm gonna do is, I'll just show you this. That's your wiring loom for heater. That's controller. And as you can see, that's not a very long wire. And where it connects onto here, there's not much there really. And I want to put my controller in main cabin. So I thought I need to extend that about 5 metres. So I've asked on forums and everything, and everybody just says cut that off and put another piece of wire in. Now, I don't want to be cutting that off, you know what I mean? It's come like that. I want an extension piece. You can't buy them. So you won't cut your plug off your telly, would you? And then you'd buy an extension cable. So them clips in there are just spade terminals. 2.8 mil, I think they were. So what I've done is I've got some male and female. Can you see that? 2.8mm spade terminals, and I've tested it, and the three of them fit on there perfect. And same on that end, spades slide in there. And then I've ordered some 3-core wire, 1.5mm squared, 21A, which is plenty big enough for volt drop and all that. So I'm gonna make my own extension cable without having to cut anything or out like that. So that's just a thought for you if you need to do that. So now we've got everything, I can take all this down to the boat. First thing I'm going to do is put that hull fitting in. I'm going to put that in, fit that where I want it to go and everything, and then I'll just do that one day so it's got a chance to for mastic silicon to go off and everything and that, and then weekend after we'll get it all done, because resting it straightforward then once that hole's drilled in. What I'll do is I'll light all that on floor and show you roughly how I'm going to be fitting it, because it is tight under there, so filming it under there might be a bit difficult, but I'll light all that as I've got planned, so you get a rough idea, and then once it's in and we've done it, I will come back to it and I'll show you all how it looks at end. Right, 2 minutes. Right, it's a bit crude obviously, but imagine that's bulkhead back wall. So heater will be there on its bracket, exhaust will come down, this is lowest point, it'll go into silencer, and then there'll be like a swan neck, goes up, comes back down onto that. Now that's to stop any water, that you get a massive tidal wave, it can't run down into here, or if you jet wash inside of your boat or like that, because it's got a swan neck on, it can't get water in. So this is exhaust intake. Now what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to drill an hole in bulkhead, because other side of bulkhead is engine bay. I'm going to feed that through there, and there's like a shelf with batteries sit on, and it'll come out underneath the shelf and be in there, so it's separate, so that if I ever did go wrong, something got bunged up or like that, because smoke can come back down, you see, and come out of this end. But if that's in engine bay, that's outside at boat, so it's not going to fill up with fumes in here, suck it in and blow it into the cabin and choke me to death. Fuel line, filter will be there pointing straight down, it'll come down to pump, and then from pump up onto where it goes in. Then there's an hole in bulkhead where wiring will go through, and there's a shelf where batteries are, smack behind where heater is, inline fuse, isolator connected to batteries. That's where it sucks its air in. There's plenty of ventilation in here, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. It'll suck air in, my piping will come off of here and then disappear into where it's going. And that's basically how it'll be fitted. Oh, another thing, this past 2 weeks, all that stuff that I put on do not use pile, I banged it all on eBay separate. I've flogged everything. I got £10 for standpipe, £8 for fuel line, filter and crap clips, mounting plate, that flat one, £7 for that. That 10 litre tank, I got £20 for that. Exhaust, that piece of crappy pipe and shitty filter muffler that it come with. What did I get for that? Well, I sold that for just over £10, I think, because I put a bit on for postage. So that was it, everything's gone. And I put all that towards buying this lot, which obviously didn't cover it, but it helped. So, next job, off to the boat. I started this video end of January 2020, and due to floods, wind, severe weather we had, I still haven't got around to doing that exhaust yet. I have managed to get everything else fitted, which I'll show you. And also, with this coronavirus, I haven't been able to go to the boat for a few months. I'm actually going tomorrow, so I'll be able to fit that exhaust tomorrow and then carry on with this. But on the plus side, it's meant that I've been able to sort out this ducting for warm air. Now, I said it were going to cost, from that Miller online, about £20 a metre. So I decided to look on eBay, and I found some in China, obviously, and it was selling 2 metre lengths, and I thought they're going to be long enough then to get me to my joins, that T and everything. So I bought 4 lengths of this. It's 2 metres out, it stretches. This Y, and I've also got a 90-degree elbow, and one of them come with this. So rather than just having them 2 that come in box, I've decided to put an extra one in back on the canopy, so that when it drops chilly on a night, you can still sit out. So for 4 lengths of this, that Y, another vent, and that elbow, it cost me 50 quid. It were going to cost me about 120 for buying it from that Miller online, and I'd have still only had them two that come with it. So it's worked out alright this way. This worked out at £5 a metre. These you can get for 2-3 quid off eBay. Same with elbows and tees, if you need any tees. Now, what I found was, if you wanted a straight connector, which I might actually need, I'm not sure till I get to fitting it, they were £15 for some reason. So I begrudged paying that when I knew that I could get every other single bend and thingy for 3 quid. So I posted on that Facebook group, Chinese Eaters UK, and a bloke on there said, "Gee, who's a baked bean can?" So I thought, is he having a laugh? It's cheap, all this stuff. But if you look at that, it's bang on, same size. So if you want a straight connector, you don't want to be paying 15 quid. Peel that off, it leaves that rim on. So all you'd have to do with the other end is just try and cut that out so it leaves rim on, so it don't go squidgy. And you've got your straight connector. Obviously, I'd use a little one. Jubilee clip on there, over side, and if you did find that it were leaking, you can always get some of that heat-proof like tape, put it round. One other thing I've also discovered while researching and everything is the pump that comes with heater. If you connect it to wood, it makes like a loud thumping noise as it pumps, and people are moaning that it's getting on the nerves. Now there's various cures for that. You can hang it with cable ties so it's not touching nothing, and things like that. But I really need to have mine fastened. So what I've bought is rubber coasters. These were about £2.50 for 4. So I'm going to drill through there, stick that onto wood and fasten pump to that, and see how that goes first, because it's not going to be thumping onto wood. It's going to be thumping onto that. So once trap's shut and everything, you shouldn't hear it. So if you do need 2 metre lengths, there's loads on eBay, saving a fortune. And as for insulation, I've decided to leave that for the time being and see how it goes, because I also posted in that group about insulation, because that's £20 a length and they're not quite a metre, so it's going to cost a fortune. And a bloke said, because all pipe works inside boat, any heat loss is going to go into the boat anyway. So he says you don't really need any insulation. So I thought, well, that makes sense. But I've also read that if it's a really long run, the air can cool as it goes through pipe. So every time it comes out at vent, it's not really that warm. But they're not really going to be long lengths. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to fit it, have it running and everything, see how I get on. If I find it's not getting warm enough and all that, then I shall buy insulation after and put that on. So for everybody that's adding it up as we go along, I've sort of lost track of what we are now because months have passed. But I'm sure we're about the £450 mark. So with all bits of tools and everything I've bought, and these things like £3 here and £3 there and a fiver there for drill bits and all that. If you just said £500, then you'd be well over, you'd have more than enough money. But for everybody that's adding it up on costs and that, like, I'm reckoning we're about £450 mark now. So right, tomorrow I'm going to boat, I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to crack on and I'll show you that. So here we are, finally at the marina. Bank holiday weekend, end of May. Can only come for a day because of COVID. But here we are, for anybody that's wondering, it's the Princess 32. I'll show you how far we've got to press. I need to turn it round to put exhaust on. It's going to be at the other side. This is what's been holding job up. Right, it's windy and all. Right, let's go in here. Oh. So this is engine bay, batteries and everything are. The heater's going under there on a bulkhead wall that's about here. So everything's really close. What I've done here is I've given it its own isolator on off. That's your 15 amp fuse, that's that big fat cable, this one here, that I've connected to leisure battery, them two at leisure batteries, them two at starter batteries. I've also put in a negative cable, I think that were 4mm squared or 6mm squared, either size of that should be alright. And then, put that extra vent in there for heat. Just done that now. Fasten this door back. And that one will wire for this one here, which is my original one. I've took this off to show you what I've done here. Drilled an hole in floor, put like a wall turret thing for air conditioning, and then come down here and I got my other one in outside the steps there. I was lucky with that because half an inch higher I'd have hit a beam, half an inch lower it would have been behind the diesel tank. I've decided that my controller is going to go here, so I can tuck wires in there, behind back at the door because this is usually open, straight down there, drill an hole through side the top of them steps, feed it all into where the diesel heater's going to be. So under here now, it's still a bit full, but I can show you. I've had to do this first before I empty it because I couldn't have got in there then. I've put hot air ducting brackets. The T's going to be behind this one. There's another one there. So it's going to come from E to down here, across under here, through that, T off. One's going to go that way up there to that Y. Other one's going to go straight outside at diesel tank and out of here. So that's as far as I've got. I'm going to do a crack on now and I'll be back in a minute. Right, that's that fitted. I'm just going to line the exhaust up now and we'll crack on a bit more. Right, so this is as far as I've got. I ain't clamped exhaust route up yet. I thought I'd show you first before it were all wrapped and everything. Goes across up there into its swan neck and then into the old fitting that we fitted. Got that wire to shift, it's only a speaker wire. I couldn't drill through that wall to the other side to put that intake filter in because all the batteries are in the way. So I've just put that on there for the time being, but I might not be able to get to the fuel thing, so I might extend that and have it sticking over there somewhere yet. That's the filter that I actually bought that. It's not one that come with it. Other one's a silencer. So I put that on to stop spiders and that getting in. We're only £2.70 off eBay. I've actually put a piece of pipe on there because that's where it sucks air in and it comes down throughout the exhaust. And I've got a cigarette, blue damp thing, and it come out of exhaust. So somebody was saying that it shouldn't have a 90-degree bending it like that because it might shut up, but that's what that condenser's for. Any water gets trapped there, it comes out of that. I've got a bowl that goes under there for that as well if it happens. So my theory is if I can blow smoke through that, then that fan should be able to blow it through as well. If not, there's something seriously wrong. But we'll see how that goes when we get it fired up. So I've done for today, but I'm coming down next Saturday. I'll finish that exhaust off, put paste on all them joints, clamp it all up, wrap it with that stuff, and then I'll run fuel line in. That's not even be a 2-minute job, and then we'll test it out. See you in a bit. Right, I weren't happy with how I'd put that air intake filter, so I've actually had another look at it, and I've fitted it here. It worked out perfect, straight between battery boxes there. So let's just show you in this side now. Did this first because so it now comes out of there through there. So if I ever did go wrong and that exhaust got blocked and it backfired and come out, it's not going to get sucked into the main air thing and pumped into living quarter. It's just going to come out of here, which is basically outside, and smoke into there, which you'd see coming through the floor and everything and that, but you're not going to get fumed to death. So I just wanted to show you that before I run up fuel next. Crack on with that. So we've got fuel line in now. I've just put that there because if there's any leaks I'll be able to detect it when I plumb it up. So I've run that along there. It's all nicely fastened on and everything. And then it goes down there. I've not connected it up yet, but I'll tell you why in a minute. And then the fuel filter is going to be about there. Straight into the pump on its 30-degree angle on that rubber mount. Straight up there into there. So I left exhaust while last because I wanted to get behind it. I'm going to put some clips on there as well just to doubly make sure. But as you can see, that's on a nice angle. So yeah, but before I connect that up, there's a main problem on that forum of these is over priming. Now there's a function on that LCD controller to prime that up, so it'll suck fuel through into the thing, but it never leaves it running. Then that fills with diesel and there's smoke billowing out everywhere and all that. So I've got this magic gadget. So before I connect that pipe to that thing, I'm going to suck diesel to it, stick it on, and then when I fire it up, it's only got from there to there to go, so there's no need to prime it. I should have actually put filter on first, left that end off at pump, and then stuck this in till filter were filled and put that on there. But because that's just an awkward space, I wanted to get that on first, so I'm going to do it this way. Right, so I'll do that, connect it all up, then I'll put exhaust back on, paste and clamp that all up, and then we'll test it. I thought I'd show you this now, it's all done before I stick the exhaust on. So they're all clipped up, my filter's there, up to that, it runs all the way along here, to that. I've left that under because there's no leaks. So I've also done wiring. As you can see, that's where it comes from batteries. I've cut that down so there's less cable for it to use till it goes to plug. That way it'll minimise a voltage drop. Right, we'll get this exhaust on and then we'll fire it up. Right, just before I fire it up, I've actually turned it on, set controller up, made sure everything were correct in settings and that for it being 12 volt, because sometimes they come and they're set to 24 volt. And I've put it in temperature mode, not that hertz mode. But I'm not going to go into detail of how controller works because there's a million videos on YouTube just for that. So I'm just going to fire it up. But it was getting a bit late, so I had to get back because I'm still not allowed to stay at boat yet with this lockdown. But it's given me time to think about that insulation for pipe work, for warm air ducting, and I've actually decided that I'm going to do it instead of waiting and doing it after. Because I was reading about it, and it says it can double output of heat in each of them vents. I know that it would have, any warmth that escaped from pipes would have ended up in that cockpit, but I want majority of heat down below in cabin. Plus, I had another look at my mates in his boat, that Webersco he's got, and his is all insulated and that. And when he had his on, them pipes do actually get quite warm, so I thought it's better safe than sorry, probably better having him insulated anyway. So anyway, I've been on the old internet and I got some of this. It's just come today. It's Ebers Patcher Maxi Firm, and you can put this on whenever you want because it's got press studs, so it just wraps around it. I've got a spare bit of pipe here and I've just stuck some on just to show you. So here we go. It just goes on and you just fasten them press studs on there, and as you can see it's a snug fit. So I think that's for best. And another thing, you can get a lot cheaper insulation than this, but this is moisture resistant, so any condensation that's of it winter when I'm not using it and that, because they do get damp boats, it's not going to soak into this. So it's got all that mold resistant stuff on it and everything and that, so it should stay like new. I did a bit of shopping about. There's some on eBay, but it's about 20 quid. It's not even a metre, it's only 7.50. So it is expensive. Cheapest place I found was this place. But it depends. If you're ordering more than 100 quid's worth, it's free delivery with these, so you get it off them. If you only want a few, it's actually cheaper on that Miller online, but then their delivery puts it up. So when I compared them both, there were only 3 quid difference in it, but 3 quid's 3 quid, isn't it? So dispatcher ducting 75 to 80 mil. As you can see, 13 quid. I got 8, and that's what it ended up costing me, which I wasn't really happy about, but it just happens I just sold some stuff on eBay, so I had to put 30 quid of my own money to, so it didn't make it that bad. So that's what I've decided to do. So I'm going back to the boat tomorrow, so I will fire it up, we'll show it. I've not done it yet, so fingers crossed. I've only set the remote up. It'll fire up first go, show you that, and then I'll get everything finished and just give you one last walk round and show you it completed. Right, I'm back here, turn everything on and we'll fire it up. So first things first, is that on? What's happening here? Wrong way. Here we go. So Fan's kicked in. Glow plugs on. Pump should kick in a minute. Hopefully I've primed it enough. Fuel's on, yeah. That's blinds. Oh, that's pump. Can you hear it now? Ticking away. So, got plenty of diesel in there. She's saying. Come on, baby, fire up. Oh, it's getting a bit warmer. Oh, it's getting faster. One bar, so it's doing its doings, it's getting faster, and it's setting off like a jet engine. Oh, that's lovely, that's warm now, that, like steam off tea. 2 bars. Right, let's examine that here. That's fun. That makes quite a bit of noise, but once the engine's shut down, I think we'll just want to hear that. Let's see if there's any smoke. Oh, that's wow. Yep. So no smoke. Everything's doing what it should. It's getting a bit fast now. I'll drop this. Oh, I'll leave that a minute. Let's have a look down here now. What's saying on here? Right, this is, yes, that's coming out with some force as well. Like it could blow a balloon up on it. I can't see. It's not smoky in here, so. Looks like I've sealed it. Just prime that up, so everything seems to be doing its doings. I'll let it get up to temperature, see how hot that gets. Let's crank it up. I'm impressed with this so far. That's lovely, that now. See, that pipe does get quite warm. The seal alarm there, that's going up wall. Yep. We're on full bar now, so it's going full pelt, so it took about 5 minutes to fire up and get to top temperature. So there doesn't seem to be any fumes. That's proper, yeah, that's proper hot. In fact, you can't hold your hand there. No smoke coming out of that, is there? No. Let's check it outside here again. That silencer makes a big difference. No smoke there. Or if you're wondering, them exhaust fittings have to be a minimum of 300 mil off waterline. But obviously you want it as high as you can, allowing for that swan neck. So mine's about 14 inch off at waterline. Right, I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do now, there's definitely no leaks in here, it'd be foggy. It doesn't smell of it, fumes are out. So I'm now going to turn it off, have a cup of tea, let that exhaust cool down because it will be getting hot, and finish it all off, and then we'll do a recap and talk you through everything that's got BSS that you need to do. So it's just there you go. There, you don't want to watch it turn off, it just them bars go down and everything, and you can hear it going cool thing now. Right, back in a bit. Right, this is all in now. Not very happy about that, but I might put something across there to hide it. It goes down there, like so, through the old thingy. I'll fire it up. It is absolutely boiling though today. So let's crank that up. Right. So let me show you what we've done here now. You can probably see the lagging. So I've left that part because there's some controversy whether to lag it all the way up to heater or not. So I've decided to leave a bit spare. And then it goes around these magic clips, tees off there, down there. That were a bastard to do of the diesel tank. And then I run out of exhaust lagging, so I've ordered some more for that last bit there. I've put some heat reflective stuff on that pipe, CO and smoke alarm for added safetiness. I have a bowl to put under there. So every install is going to be different. So this is just really a guide. I don't want you copying me and then everything going wrong and you blaming me. So you're going to have to check safety regs yourself, because different installs there's different regs. Like this is a diesel boat. If it's going in a petrol boat, you have an all new can of worms on where you can put it and everything. I've tapped into diesel tank. You can't tee off at fuel lines, so I won't advise doing that. And if you want a separate tank, then there's an all new can of worms there, because you need a proper tank. Not that one that comes with it, that's not good enough, so you'd have to buy another tank. If you bought one of them all-in-one systems that they do with these, you're opening a new can of worms here, because it comes in a nice container already built and everything, but you're still going to have to change all this pipe work and filter to BS standards, unless you're just going to take it out of your boat when it comes. So your exhaust needs to be a minimum 300mm off waterline, but obviously as high as you can, but away from windows and fenders and things that can burn. You've got to have that skin fitting. That silencer, you're better off with that because it makes a great noise without it. So it's got to be a marine silencer. You've got to buy proper exhaust clips, proper exhaust. That condenser's optional, but you're going to have problems for the outline without it. So you can buy a straight one of them. Obviously this, as you'll have noticed, this is not how I had it laid out on the kitchen floor. Things have changed as I've gone along, which they will for you. So you can buy a straight condenser if you wanted it different like, and obviously you want to be keeping your exhaust as short as possible. It's firing up now. You've got to have a battery isolator with that 15 amp fuse in it for BSS. This lagging, I'm not sure if that's necessary for BSS, but it does get hot, so you know, going past these shouldn't be in here to be fair, but going past these and wiring and that, you're going to need it. So yeah, I think that's about it. Let's just, what else? Can't think of what else. So yeah, just check BSS. It's all on there. E-dispatcher. Everything's on there for fitting it, because this is actually a clone at e-dispatcher D4. So if you follow instructions for that, you should be about right. And there's also a guide for working out. You can't just run your ducting wiggly piggly. There's a maximum you can have, and it's on a point system. I think it's 8 points, and each length, bend, fitting and that scores a thing. So if you go over 8 points, it's not going to work, you're going to end up with problems. I was lucky, me and mine were about between 6 and 7, so I had plenty to spare with the route I wanted to go. But it tells you all that on there, so I hope this has helped you and give you some tips and things on what you need for marine install. If you want to know where I got any parts from, I'll post it in comments, and it's up to you if you buy them or look for yourself. Okie dokie.